Hey, 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 hey. Aloha. Welcome. It's Friday. We know what that means, especially now that I don't have a show. Yes. Yeah. And the dogs know what time it is, too. Doesn't take long, does it? And also, I have one sitting here. Okay, you guys, let's stop barking. Hey, guys. Who's got treats? It works. It works. I swear they know as soon as I start talking that, okay, mom has a live going on. I've got a bird who I don't know if you can see. Yeah, he's dancing back and forth right now because he wants his treats. I think I have trained the dogs really, really well right now. That's not good, is it? So, hey, so I hope everyone has had a wonderful week. We are smack dab in the middle of October. Yes, holiday season is quickly coming towards us. And if you're like me, I love the holiday season. Oh my God, I am. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Oh, by the way, yes, first in chat today was Miss Rosaline. I love Miss Rosaline. I swear, I keep missing her lives because I've been sleeping and I wake up and I'm like, no, I get so upset. Oh my God. Rosaline, for anyone who has a chance, you got to see Miss Rosaline's channel. She's just another one of those that can really pick you up and have you have fun. Okay, you really learn something about yourself and things like that. It's just awesome. So Matt, I love my Matt coming in. Matt is so supportive last night. Thank you so much. And Jeff, I can depend on my Jeff here. Jeff, you didn't make it first today. And you guys are not going to keep getting treats. No. We've had enough treats for these freaking dogs. And IDK, Bo Diddley, yes. And IDK, right now, IDK with these dogs. Yeah, don't start that, you guys. Do not start that. So, what a fun week. I am here for a full night. And show opened up last night. And they sold out. They actually sold out last night. So it was like, okay, we're good. They're sold out again. And I'm like, okay, if we're sold out, there's nowhere for me to sit. And because of COVID, we can only have half of the audience filled. And of that half, everyone has to have 6 feet within parties reach. Well, that cuts us down to 1/3 of the house. So it was definitely, they're like 1/3 of the house. So I'm like, guess what? I could be here. I could be having fun with my YouTube family. I like this. I could actually sit here and we can have a cantina and enjoy ourselves. So, oh my gosh. So, Rosaline, what channel was the retrograde tarot? Ooh, that sounds interesting. I'm going to have to find out the answer to that one myself. I swear I can totally retrograde. Yeah, you can tell it's going on right now because everything is everywhere. I swear. I mean, everything's turned upside down right now, it feels like. So, but everything will also come around sooner or later. So yeah, so hope everyone had a great chance. I'm going to be drinking a little bit more of my iced tea than normal today. I kind of mentioned last night on Robbie's Live, in Hawaii, when the volcano is erupting, we get what we call fog. It's fog, but with volcanic ash in the air. And when it happens, it literally kills you if you have asthma. If you've got any type, hey, Pia, come here. Come on, help Pia. It literally makes it hard to breathe. Your voice gets scratchy as all get out. And I am so... Yeah, I can tell in fact, my mom just made a comment that she was looking out at the sun and stuff like that earlier and noticed the haze out there today. So I think we definitely, cheers every time I get my iced tea. I actually ordered an extra one from Starbucks to get me through today. But I'll never complain about Starbucks iced tea. Never, ever, ever. They're like, really, Rosaline? I was wondering I've been needing to find out exactly because I knew we had a retrograde, but I wasn't sure exactly. Yes, my fire alarm tweet is going on right now. My fire alarm tweet is standing right at the edge of the cage right now. So, oh my gosh. I've been trying to give everyone a little bit of a chance to get in here because we have a pretty important subject I wanted to talk about today. Some of you guys may or may not know, this month is actually Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The bird knows. Yeah, the bird knows. And all the birds trying to go pew, pew. And also, because of that, I wanted to really focus on some of the bigger issues that are going on and what people have to deal with. And what they recognize, okay, because so many times we don't even know what is going on because life is life for us. Okay, we go through waking up in the morning, okay, we go through the day, everything that comes our direction, and we go to sleep at night. That's a normal life. We don't realize sometimes that our life might not be the same as what other people consider normal. And that's where education becomes more and more important. So I wanted to talk about a different type of abuse today. We've talked about toxicity. Okay, and this does kind of go along with the whole idea of toxicity and narcissistic relationships, things like that. A couple weeks ago, I talked about recognizing that type of relationship and reactive abuse and how the two go together. So today I wanted to actually talk about emotional abuse. Okay, a lot of times we get very focused on, we all know what physical abuse is. A person who is dealing with physical abuse, 9 times out of 10 knows there's something going on there. Okay, it's something that's pretty evident. You may not want to accept it, but you know what's going on down deep. Other types of abuse, though, okay, verbal, little bit more cloudy because sometimes it starts playing other games with things. Okay, is this the norm or whatever? Hey there, Susan. Welcome, my dear. Emotional, we jump to a totally new level when we get into emotional abuse. Emotional abuse, especially for so many of us, because we all come from different backgrounds. Okay, say you are coming from a childhood where emotional abuse was the norm. That's what was the norm. That's what happened in your family, whether it was parents to each other, parents towards you, whatever it was, that was the norm. So you come into your adult life, it's the norm. Okay, you start thinking, well, everyone sits there and denigrates other people or makes controlling comments, and you don't see them as controlling at the time. You just see them as normal. Hey, K9, my dear. So emotional abuse is something that I think a lot of us do need to open our eyes up. So to start with, just a basic hello, Miss Amethyst. Hey. And emotional abuse is basically a pattern, according to Psychology Today. Yes, dogs, would you please stop? Thank you. I love you guys, but stop. And it's a pattern of behavior in which a person insults, humiliates, and generally instills fear. Okay, the whole idea is to control or make someone else scared of you. Okay, through what you say and how you treat them. Okay, it's not just the verbal, it can go to the physical, becomes an emotional abuse too, but it's very heavily verbal. Okay, insults, humiliation, just basically making you feel like shit. Hey, Mama Jane's got a migraine. Love you. And prayers out for your migraine, my dear. Damn, I hate migraines. And I hate migraines. Gulf Coast Mama's here. Love you, my dear. And so emotional abuse, basically, in the end, what gets so damaging with emotional abuse is the fact that over time, okay, especially if it starts as a child on top of it, is that it begins to actually distort the reality of the person who's on the receiving end. Okay, and over time, you get to the point where you believe that behavior is due to you. Okay. When someone's sitting there telling you that you are stupid or that you cannot ever remember they're gaslighting you or stuff like that, you start realizing it's your own failings it's causing this. Like many other types of abuse, it starts to become a thing where it's in your eyes your fault that it's going on. And so we all know many of the normal signs, okay, of emotional abuse. Like I just said, oh, you're stupid or shit like that. Okay, well, I wanted to kind of look at some of the others that are not quite as easy to see. And I'm going to tell you guys up front here something, a little story. My mom watches me put together these videos and kind of throw out ideas and all that. And she and I kept going back and forth saying, oh, that sounds like you. Oh, that sounds like you. Oh, that sounds like you. So I think it's important for all of us to also realize that a lot of what we're going to hear today on its own may not necessarily be. Okay, one of the things I'm going to talk about, my mom loves to, know where I am. I'm 50 years old and she still likes to know where I am and when I come home at night. Okay, I love it. I find it endearing. And, but it can totally be seen when added in with a bunch of the other things, it becomes a negative feeling that just perpetuates. It's when you start perpetuating this feeling in the other person that they are no good and everything is their fault that we start having problems. Yes, Rosaline, exactly that. Oh, you're wearing that? Okay, yeah, whatever. You can, okay, wear it. Yeah, exactly. So what are some of these signs of emotional abuse when we're dealing with them? Well, one of the first things that someone who does emotionally abuse other people tends to do is they love to blame you for everything else. Okay. Go back to the good old narcissistic behavior that we keep talking about. Okay. You cannot do anything wrong when you're a narcissist. Okay. If there's a problem, they're going to have to find a way to turn it around and make sure it's your problem and not theirs. And they are going to do that. They are not going to take fault for their own behavior. Okay, so unfortunately, all of this, because we're going to end at the end talking about how you could go about getting out of it and starting that process for getting out of this type of relationship. And one of the first things we love to do is we want to talk to people like they are normal human beings and point out issues and stuff like that and say, well, you know what, I don't think that's right. If I want to wear this, I want to wear this. Okay. You know what? I don't think it was my fault that the coffee maker turned off halfway through the night or a day or something like that. And so they're not going to agree. You're going to come to them 5 million times and you can say it till you're blue in the face, but they're not going to accept it, because for them to accept that, they have to accept that, number one, they might have actually been at fault, which is hard enough. You add on top of it that not only that, but they definitely are wrong for blaming you for something that was not your fault. And a narcissist is not going to want to do that whatsoever, because now they're not only finding out that they're wrong, but you were right. So definitely not something they're going to want to go for. Also, a lot of times when a person is dealing with someone like this, they are going to find yourself avoiding certain subjects. Okay, certain topics. You know it's going to make them blow up. You know it's going to start you off on a bad day. Okay, whether it be in the morning or going out for the evening on a weekend or something. You know, if you bring up this subject, shit, it's not going to be good. So what do? You ignore this topic. Okay, you feel more comfortable with that, because why go and tell them, okay, going back to the thing about, oh, you're wearing that. Okay, why go and bring up to them, it really upsets me when you say that to me because I actually like this outfit. Okay. Or I like wearing, okay, if you're, one of the things I get a lot, okay, for overweight women is, oh, you want to show your shoulders and all? Okay. Now I don't, but I know a lot of friends who will. What the fuck is wrong with them doing it if they want to? That's how they feel comfortable. But if you go say that to someone in a situation like this, you know you're going to set that off because you know that is a sore topic for them. So you go changing how you talk with someone in hopes to not have conflict. But over time, the more and more you do that, the more you find yourself being controlled. The way you act, the way you talk, what you do starts being controlled. A lot of these things, you're going to find a lot of these symptoms or whatever, okay, however we want to word it, they start dovetailing and they start building on each other. So the more you find yourself ignoring topics, or apologizing for this or apologizing for that, or trying to say, nope, that wasn't me, that was not me. You stop doing those, they're controlling that thing. The whole idea is control. Okay. They can also downright say, I'm going to control you. And how do? That? They do it out of support. Okay. You will find people who will be like, hon, okay, going back to the clothes again, you know, yeah, I know you like wearing that, but I just want to tell you this because people are going to be looking at you and you really don't want them looking at you like that, do you? I mean, come on now. It's not the most flattering or anything like that. Okay, so these types of subjects, as they get brought up, all it is doing is, oh, I'm supporting you in this. I'm here for you, hon. I'm here for you for all this stuff. Yeah, you may not want to do that. So over time, you start thinking, you know what? Yeah, they do care about me because that's what they want to make sure I'm okay. They're really focused on making sure that I'm okay and all. So they also have, as part of this, these dogs are loving their treats today. And another thing that they really like to do over time is control. Welcome back, Mama Jane. Why did I almost say Mary Jane? And but they'll control not only how you talk, what you wear, or things like that, but even plans. Okay, you might find yourself, you're going to go out with your friends. It's a weekend. You may have planned something for weeks and you have something set up. Last minute, this other person comes in and they're like, oh, I made reservations for us for dinner tonight. Oh, I can't go. I already have. Oh, no. This is important. You got to come to this. Okay. And then they'll start the guilt tripping of it. Oh, but, oh, it's the best restaurant around. And I want to just have time for you and me. I know we've been needing our time and all, but it's like, things like this happen on again. And this is where I'm talking about some of these things once, okay, they can feel like normal stuff. Okay. I've had times where my schedule's been changed and it truly was something that came out of the blue and was something really important that I did. But when it happens over and over, when this person repeatedly, every time you find yourself wanting to do something, okay, they go and they change it. That is turning into a control mechanism. Okay, they are wanting to create a dependence. Okay, they want you dependent on them. You can't make up your own plans or anything because they know exactly what you need to be doing at all times. Also, the more control they have with you, the more they can ensure that what they want to happen happens. Because one of the biggest fears, I think, with many of these people is that they'll be found out. You go out with your friends, you start talking with your friends, they might give you ideas. And that's not something they want. So the more they can control you, okay, whether it's actual physical control, no, you're not going out, we are doing this tonight, or making your thoughts be their thoughts, control your thoughts by saying things, the better off they are. So another thing they tend to do, and this is where it gets so freaking hard for so many people, is that they bounce back and forth. One moment, they are there for you. Okay. I know you're having a rough day. I'm here for you. Oh gosh, yeah, giving you hugs, treating you the way you want to be treated because you need to be loved also. You're putting out all this for them, and they're all of a sudden giving it back. But then how do you know they're going to do it? Because you know what? The next day, it may be the exact opposite. And hey, Katie, and they aren't there whatsoever. Emotionally, they are unavailable. Okay, you can make a comment to them and say, hon, I need some support right now. Okay, something horrible may have happened. Okay, whether it be at work, in your life, or whatever. And all of a sudden, they're gone. They may physically be there, but they may as well be watching TV or something like that because they're definitely not there for you at that time. Okay, what does this lead to though? Okay, well, again, the whole idea is control. Like when we've talked about toxic people and things and narcissistic behavior, okay, it's leading them to a point where they know we are second guessing ourselves. Okay. We are starting to blame ourselves for things because they're not stepping in to kind of reiterate and help us through our issues. So we start thinking, well, yeah, maybe I am making a mountain out of a molehill. Because you know what, if it really did matter, they would be there for us to begin with. We start second guessing everything we're doing. Their control tightens more and more. And so definitely something with that. The other, and this ties in with Rosaling's idea with the clothing and stuff. Oh, you're wearing that or stuff, is they can hurt you with their comments. Okay. Comments can be veiled jokes. Okay. They can be publicly or privately. Okay, it could be a joke where they're sitting there talking about that outfit of yours, okay, and they sit there and compare you to how their mom looked or something like that. And you start, it's a joke and they're laughing up a storm and all that, but inside you're like, oh, okay. Or you're out at a party with them and next thing you know, they are telling a story about you. And the story is making fun of something you did. But you know there's a difference. We've all been part of that type of thing. Oh, heck. My own family. Okay, you get together for Thanksgiving. What do? You sit there around the family. You tell stories of when a person was a child and the things they did. And, okay, you show the pictures of them, those pictures that, you know, you take when they're real young and you bribe them with as they get older, that type of thing. There's a difference in how those types of jokes come across. So someone who is not as used to that, okay, may actually see this and be like, oh, this is just normal. I see people do this type of thing all the time. But the difference is in a normal, healthy relationship, if someone makes one of those jokes and they know it has upset you, first of all, they'd let you approach them and say, you know, that hurt. That hurt. Not only that, they would probably figure it out themselves. They'd probably be able to look in your eyes or look at the way you're reacting and be like, oh, fuck, I messed up. That was wrong. And they're going to apologize to you. In this case, though, with someone who is dealing on an emotional abuse level, it's going to be like, oh, I'm having a blast doing this. And you know what? They're the focus. The focus isn't you, even though the whole story is about you. The focus is on them because they're able to sit here and entertain people. And it hurts. Yeah, Mama Jane, exactly. The humiliation behind it. It hurts. And over time, the more you hear it, the more you start criticizing yourself because you're hearing all these comments coming in at you and you start criticizing yourself. You start questioning everything about yourself and your sense of self-worth starts go down bit by bit. Okay, you feel less and less sure of yourself, less and less proud of yourself. And let me ask you this, in a real relationship, that significant other, whether it be, and when I talk relationships, this type of relationship, okay, an emotionally abusive relationship does not have to be romantic. It could be a platonic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be a family, okay, a parent, child, whatever. Okay, a real relationship wants to build you up, not tear you down. And these people have a tendency, like any wonderful narcissist does, they expect you're a mind reader. I've got news for you. Okay, there are a bunch of people out here who are supposed to be able to read minds and know exactly what a person wants and feels at the exact moment it's being thought. And if you don't, it's your fault for doing it. They'll come up to that person and say, well, come on, hon. You've been married to me for how many years? You know how I like this. You know I don't like that. Okay, if you really loved me, you've proven it to me right now, because if you really loved me, you'd never go reacting that way. You would never go acting and saying stuff and doing shit. And okay, you would have made that dinner for me, or you wouldn't have made that dinner for me, or something like that, because they are expecting you to read. Hello, Miss Iris. You made it, my dear. And they expect you're going to know exactly what they want, because doesn't the whole world know what they want? And that's the thing for so many people in this type of relationship. The idea of a narcissist's behavior is not something any of us are really expected to understand. All we know is we grow up being told, well, you know what, when you find the person you love or you care about or something like that, you support them and whatever they need supported with. Okay, you're behind them at all times. If they need lifted up, you're there. Yeah, all these things were kind of taught over the years. And a lot of times you find yourself putting it in, but not receiving it back. And then again, why is that happening? Is it your behavior that is leading to that not happening? Exactly, Mama Jane. I'm the same way. That's why I try to be kind to everyone. Because you know what? We're all human. We're all dealing with crap every freaking day of our lives. We are always dealing with stuff. And learning how to deal with that and just be with people is so important. So no one deserves to be treated like that at all. So next, tied in with all of this other stuff, okay, you do have these things. And I kind of suggested this earlier. Anyone who's watching that story being told about this person or whatever could tell that person is mortified. Okay. And everyone else is stepping up and saying, oh, sorry. And they're trying to change the subject maybe, or they're doing all this. Everyone else can understand the feelings, but the person just ignores them. They continue to ignore the feelings. Okay. They, even with other people saying stuff, they are ignoring them. They may go as far as to tell you your feelings don't matter. Okay. Many people have probably been told before, you're just so sensitive. And they may even combine that with that little joke idea or the caring idea. sensitive. Oh, you're so sweet. And it's a demeaning level of it. It's not about lifting you up and making you feel better about it. It's to cut you down. And that's the whole idea. Okay. It's just, you start questioning everything you say because shit, maybe I am too sensitive. Okay. Maybe I'm way over. I mean, maybe I shouldn't cry. Okay. You hear that with, okay, abusive families with children. Children grow up like, I'm not allowed to cry or things like that because their feelings have been ignored for so many years. They're taught that those emotions should not be there. And so over time, that continues on. The gaslighting continues on, telling you that whatever you are saying to them did not happen. Okay, you get home after that party and you say, "Oh, hon, I love you, and I had a great time tonight, but can you not tell people that story anymore? I mean, that hurt me and all that." And they're like, "Oh, come on. Come on. That was just, we were having fun. And you're too sensitive. You're just too sensitive. No one saw it the way you saw it. Okay, that's not how it was whatsoever." Okay, so they're sitting there retraining you, reworking all of that control. Okay, leading you to confusion. Because if someone is confused, if you think about it for a second, if you are out in a new location, you're on vacation, and you need to go somewhere, and you don't know how to get there, you're extremely confused, okay? The GPS is not telling you anything that makes sense whatsoever, okay? And someone comes up to you and tells you, "Oh, I know exactly how to get to where you are going. Okay, yep, you do this, 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 this. Okay, oh, heck, I'll walk you there. We're good." Okay, you could very well find yourself dependent on them at that point because they're able to clear up that confusion for you. And that's what's happening in many of these situations. These people, okay, when you've been emotionally abused for long enough, you become so confused, you start leaning on that other person in hopes that the confusion lessens, because they don't seem to be confused. So if I can kind of figure out where they're coming from, maybe I'll be less confused. So that dependence, and that's what they want, that dependence over time. So another thing, and this can be slightly different with each person, is how they act when they're in public. It's almost two different people. Okay, when you're at home, they're acting one way. But the moment you go out in public, it's a different person. It's completely not who you're used to at home. Not only is this adding to all the other confusion and shit, but what is going on here? Puts you more on edge, okay? When all of a sudden someone's not acting normal whatsoever, you're more on edge at that point. It could be they're more loving. Okay, they don't want anyone to know because you know what, again, as abusers, narcissists, whatever, they don't want people to see them as who they truly are. They want to be seen as that perfect person and all. So, oh, I'm going to be over loving and I'm going to be caring and I'm going to be standing next to you all the time and I'm going to be supportive and all this other stuff. Or on the opposite side, they can be more distant. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. So I went to the movies the other day and it was, you were at the movie too, but okay, whatever. And more putting distance between the two of you, because the more distance at that time that they see, the more they are able to say, "See, you need me. You need me to pull you into all this stuff. So see, if I'm not near you, what's going to happen? You're kind of lost on your own." And so it's definitely, they just becomes more and more of a way of starting to question yourself. And yes, Rosalind, definitely trigger warnings on every one of these things for sure. And one of the things I've noticed many times when I talk to people who've been in this type of relationship is, and one of the first things you can almost see as you're entering this type of relationship, is they ignore your accomplishments. Okay, this type of person, if you may have just gotten to know them, you can almost see this within the first couple weeks, okay, if not days. All of a sudden you're talking with them and they succeed at something. And all of a sudden, they want pats on the back and they talk about their success nonstop and things like that. And then you succeed at something. You do something. And they don't care. They don't want to talk about it. They ignore it. Worse, if it comes up in public around other people, they're going to minimize that. Oh, yeah. I know you had that, but you know what? There were other people in there. Oh, yeah, you got that promotion at work, but you know what? From what I heard, the people that were up against at the time, I mean, I'm so happy you got it and all that, but yeah, we're not the greatest, that. So they're ignoring those. They're minimizing who you are and the success that you can be because of one reason and one reason only. Your success is a threat to them. If you start succeeding at things, you start believing in yourself. If you start believing in yourself, you could start seeing the truth about what's going on in your relationship. And they may find themselves without that relationship. And if they don't have someone to control, they lose who they are. And also that success, your accomplishments are a huge threat to them. And they don't want to see that. Okay, fine. If you want to succeed, then fine, but I'm not going to talk to you about it or anything like that. They will often talk and imply that you don't do anything. Okay, and this goes in with that accomplishments. Okay, you get a new job with a raise and stuff like that, and they're not going to talk about that raise or anything. Okay, they're going to talk more about how, oh yeah, I had to do this and I had to do that, and oh yeah, I had to get the other job because we just didn't have enough money coming in, so I went out there and I got a new job. Oh, and I'm working 16-hour days right now to make sure that we have the money coming in. It doesn't matter that you're working just as much. Okay, or you're working with the kids just as much, and you're bringing just as much into that relationship. But they're going to continue to imply that, okay, yeah, whatever. But look at all I'm doing, and man, look at the scale. Wow, look at that. And no, why would they want to go look at that success? Okay, that ability that you might have to contribute, because that loses them their control. And they need to know they're in control. Next is the one I was joking with my mom about, because this was about where we're going through all this, and she's like, oh, that sounds familiar. And I'm like, yeah, that one sounds familiar to me. On that one, we're going back and forth, and then we got to the thing. They need to know where you are at all times. And we joked about this one because, yeah, anyone who knows me, I joke around all the time that when I come home on a game night, mom's like, okay, let me know when you get in the house and stuff like that. And I love it because in our relationship, it truly is a caring thing. It is a caring thing. And she knows that, heck, I can do that. But in these type of situations, they need to know where you are at all times. And if you forget, oh, you're up Schitt's Creek. I need to know where you are, who you're going out with, and you know what? You need to be home by a certain time because no. Okay. You are an individual. Okay. Every one of us is an individual, and we're an adult here. Okay. All this shows over time in these types of relationships is a lack of trust. Their need to control what you're doing. Again, like I said before, if they're going out and they know you're going out with your girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, okay, I'm trying to keep this because trust me, these relationships can happen on both sides. I've seen girls that were emotionally abusive and guys who were. So I try to keep it even on that level. But if they know you're going out with your friends, friends talk. Friends share their stories. Friends truly support each other. Friends are there for each other. They know if you are going to leave them at some point, you're going to lean on your friends. So the less chance there is for you to have a core group of friends that you can truly depend on, the better off their chances that they can keep their control. And so these are the things that it's important for you to remember and look at, because as you start thinking about leaving, it's all these little things that start popping up. It's not always the, oh, okay, you're a piece of dirt or you're stupid or stuff like that. Those are the surface things. A lot of emotional abuse happens secretly and quietly where we kind of think, oh, this could be normal, but then it crosses that line. And when does it cross that line? It crosses that line when you start second guessing who you are, when you start feeling your sense of self-worth decline. That's when you are crossing lines, because, a person who truly loves you, if they start realizing that things are crossing that line, they're going to stop it or attempt to stop it and really make a point of understanding they hurt you and apologize for it. So what happens though? That this is the thing. I think most of us here in this room, as we're all talking, can kind of see, yeah, that is. And as I've been watching in chat and trying to follow along in chat and everything, a lot of people have dealt with these things. And so many people go through it, but how do you take that next step? How do you go? Because the hardest thing in the world is leaving that abusive relationship, any type of abusive relationship. It's the hardest thing in the world. As human beings, we like the norm. Okay. Think about this, whether it be a relationship, work, anything in life, we like the norm. Change is scary. Look at COVID. When COVID came down and we had our first set of lockdowns and stuff like that, it was scary as hell. What am I going to do just in the house all the time? How am I going to get my food? What am I going to, oh my God, I can't talk with my friends when I need to just vent or anything. How am I going to do for people who were single? How am I going to go out and date and meet that special person or things? It was scary as fuck. It was so scary for people. And now, a year and a half later, we've got a new norm. Lockdowns became the norm for many, many people. And now we're reopening up to what was normal life is now new life. And that new life is coming with fears. I've talked, in fact, just the other day, I talked to some friends about how there are people actually going through PTSD over the idea of integrating back into society after all this time. There are some major mental health things going on. This change is scary. You work at a company and that company gets sold or gets a new boss. Change is scary. One of the craziest times I've ever been through, as a nursing home administrator, was changing to electronic health records. Okay. We had nurses who our whole lives, you wrote everything down. Everything was handwritten. And all of a sudden now you're typing. And the fear behind that was horrible. Now, in a relationship, you're not just talking about little changes here or there and starting to write things on a computer versus, no, you're talking about changes in actual life. Someone who, no matter what an asshole they are, you've depended on. And there may be real reasons that you've had to depend on them. Okay, they may have been bringing the money in. You may have kids and be like, I'm not going to be able to raise these children as a single parent, or things like this. These changes are real and they are scary. And what starts happening with our brains is that emotions will take over. And I think one of the biggest ways for getting out of this type of relationship, and those of you in chat, please let me know if you've been through this, what you felt helped you get into that mindset that I could actually get out of there. I think one of the biggest ways you can do that is to start thinking logically about it. Because our brain, the more we're on that creative side of just talking emotions equal creativity type thing, and the more we start running away with what ifs. And the what ifs are what kills us as we try to get out of it. And yes, Iris, our faith, Jesus will tremendously help. And when you're dealing on that emotional level and coming up with all the what ifs often become barriers to progressing. Because without an answer, the what ifs leave us with the unknown. There's enough unknown in leaving someone as it is. So you really have to, one of the first things you really need to do is trust your emotions. Trust your gut feeling. I'm going to ask some questions as we go through these next couple steps. Okay, and the first question I want to ask every single one of you, and you can add it in chat and answer, or you can just say it to yourself. Do you need permission to leave a relationship? If you're in a relationship, good or bad, do you need permission of the other person to leave them? Because this is where a lot of times we end up starting at. Okay, we get upset. And what do? We go to them and we start talking to them. Oh, you know what? I think we really need to deal with this and all. You know they're not going to change. Down deep, you know this. But you keep looking for permission to leave the relationship. Because if you have the permission, again, there's been control all this time. And the more that control has settled deep in you, the harder it is to be able to say, I gotta go. This is not who I am. This is not good for me. This is not good for the kids. The answer, no. You don't need permission to do anything in life. You make your own decisions for yourself. You can decide at any moment, I'm going to get up and make myself a coffee right now because I'm tired because I didn't get enough sleep last night. Or I have made a decision that I'm making this for dinner tonight, or I'm going to wear that outfit that someone else does not want me to wear. So why do we need their permission to leave the relationship? Why do we need their permission to stay in the relationship? We stay or we leave based off of what our decision is. And that's hard. That's hard to accept a lot of times because it's so hard to leave. It's so hard to leave. So how can you make it easier? This is where you'll have to step back, try to believe in yourself, and listen to what your heart is telling you, what your gut is telling you. Start by looking at the facts. Okay. Don't just look at, yes, Rosaline, our favorite word, domestication. Got to get that one in there. Yes, domestication, exactly. It's how we were raised, how we were taught to be the whole time we were growing up. And then we got into a relationship or friendship and we continued those behaviors. Okay, use our 4 agreements, use those because it makes the difference. So look at that. Okay, look at the relationship. Look at the facts of that relationship that you're in right now. Not just now, look at before. Who was that person before? Who are they now? What were they like before? Did they act in ways that are any different? Because a lot of times you're going to find the person did not change necessarily when they came into the relationship. Now, they may have hit it really well. Trust me, they may have hit it very well. But if they had behaviors such as, okay, maybe they had drug-seeking behaviors or other issues. Maybe they were narcissists before and they're still narcissists now. Okay, maybe they didn't care about anyone but themselves before. Maybe during your dating times, they were already making comments to you about what you looked good in and what you didn't. And it wasn't to say, hey, girl, you look good in that. It wasn't something like that. It was more like, hey, you look good in that. Yeah. You know that other outfit there? No. This is what you should be wearing. Or stuff like that. Slight difference in those things. So look at those things. Look at the facts of the relationship. Look at the things that happen in the relationship that just don't feel right. Okay? Our brain likes facts. Our brain likes concrete stuff. It does not like the what ifs. Okay, it wants concrete information, especially when you have to make a decision this important. It needs to know that it's going to be safe. And the best way to do that is to look at reality and the facts. So the facts could be something like, well, yeah, he complains about what I'm wearing. She insists that I only go out with my friends once a month, while she goes out whenever she wants to. He screams and yells at me and he rages all of a sudden. Those type of things. What are those things that you're dealing with and you're seeing regularly? Jot them down. Find your phone. Okay, if you don't want to write them out on something where they might find them, because that is a big fear. If they find things that they know you're starting to become your own person, and you know they're going to try to squash that own person, pull up a phone. There are certain apps you can download, and you could password protect things. You could hide folders where no one can see these folders. There's ways out there and we can help. Okay, join Discord and I can help share those things with you. Message me later and I can help share with you some of those apps if you're looking for those things. Write these things down. Look at the facts. Make note of the facts. What is it that just you know is wrong down deep? You know it's triggering something in you deep. Let your emotions tell you what's going on. Exactly, IDK. They will read journals and stuff like that, and that can get dangerous, and I know it can. So try to find ways that are safe. And thank God for computers, because there are people out there trying to find ways to make things safe for people to be able to do this type of thing. So start taking those facts, and as you've created that list of facts, step 2, how do you feel about those facts? Okay, so you're sitting there coming up with all these ideas. Okay, they rage at you and yell and threaten you, or they make comments about what you wear or stuff. They're always judging you. Now, how do you feel about that? It's okay to feel. Facts do not mean you cannot feel, because the feelings are what's going to get you out of there. Knowing what those feelings are and knowing what it does to you is what's going to get you out of there. Because you're going to start recognizing and loving yourself and being like, you know what? I'm freaking worth this. I'm freaking worth this. I'm worth getting out and becoming my own person. So how do you do this? How do you figure out what you feel about the facts? So take just a question thing, okay? When he or she walks away, when I try to tell them how I feel like this, okay? When they start yelling and threatening me, I feel scared. Those things. How do you feel? How do each of these facts make you feel? Because the fact has no emotion behind it, but the feeling that you get from it does, and those feelings are real. The shaking, the fear, the needing to protect children, things like that, those are real. Be something. When they promised not to change plans on me, I felt like this. Yes, Crystal, exactly. And those are the things, and you're not. You are not. And that's where we're getting with this. Because it's actually starting to fill in those things about, because there's nothing wrong with feeling those things. Because we all do. When someone talks down to us long enough, you start second guessing who you are. Doesn't make it true, though. Does not make it true. And that's where we're making our connections now. That's where the next step comes. Connect that fact with the emotion. Okay. I feel like I don't matter because when he walks away, when I'm trying to talk, I just don't feel like I matter anymore. I don't only feel sad, but I don't feel like I matter. I feel scared when she screams at me. I feel like I have no control over my life when he changes plans on me at the last minute and I have no choice but to follow. Those are the things we're talking about. So connect those dots. Connect how you feel with the emotion. It's okay to feel those emotions. Because it's recognizing them that allows you to deal with them. And it's important to recognize them. Because if we don't recognize them, we can't deal with them. And by recognizing now we have the strength to move forward. Because as we deal with these feelings, as we start acknowledging who we are and that we have a right to not feel these ways, and that, yes, we do feel these ways. And no one can minimize those or stuff like that because it's true. It's how we feel. But now we can start working on it. We can build that strength about the future. Because you know what? If you go back to those fears and stuff, those facts, that he yells at you and rages, or he walks out on you when you're trying to talk and tell your truth, think about what the future can be now. Because you now know what you want and what you don't want. And if you're in a life where you're not having to worry about someone who's going to walk out on you and treat you like you don't matter, you have the ability to live an amazing life, a life that you deserve. So you're now able to take this to a logical, rational decision base. Like I said, the brain likes facts. Our emotions love to run away with us. Okay, I'm one, I could get emotional like that. And oh shit, I hate it about myself. It's one of the things I hate about myself. But as soon as I get that way, the logical, rational part of me disappears. And I have a hard time making decisions and sticking by those decisions. So you're creating this kind of feeling that, okay, I know what I need to do. I know what my future is going to look like if I do it. What do I need to do it now? Okay. I do know I don't need their permission to feel anything. I don't need their permission to tell me what to do. I can make up my own mind on those things. And I have a right to feel the way that I do. It may not be right, but I have a right to feel that way because it's who I am and it's how I feel. And now I'm going to work on myself so I don't feel that way about myself because I'm worth that. So how do you start accepting that and working that forward? Well, there's many ways. And this is, again, where you pull out that phone or a private place that you can go if you don't feel safe. Okay, whether it be an encrypted thing, hidden folders, whatever, and you stick with it. You keep working on it. Okay, watch videos on YouTube. You can get rid of your watch list and stuff like that. Go in and watch videos. Because the more you watch videos like this, and there's so many out there, as I've done more and more of this type of research, it has amazed me what's out there and how much I can learn from by watching these videos. So find out what it is. If your concern is that you're starting to feel it, oh, Jet's mom's here. Love you, my dear. If your concern is that you're always feeling like you don't matter because someone's treating you that way, go in and do a search. How to start believing in yourself. I guarantee you there's videos about it out there. There's books. What's amazing is back in the day, you had to go to Barnes and Nobles, and you always had this freaking book that would be sitting in a bookshelf, or you had to hide under your mattress or something like that. You don't have to do that now. To get yourself to the place that you know who you are and can make these changes, you can actually download books. Heck, as Rosalind can tell you, and I've told you, the 4 agreements, probably the 4 most, the best tools out there. Honestly, guys, I keep saying it and I mean it. They're amazing tools. And you can get that downloaded as a PDF. Easy enough. You can hide it. Actually, something like that, no one would even catch on to what it is. But it's teaching you how to become who you need to be. And so start doing that. Start developing this idea that, I'm worth it. My family's worth it if you have children. Start looking at things. Start talking to your friends. Develop that network. Rosalind, thank you. Michael Sandler's channel, Inspire Nation. Yes, exactly. Start working on this. Because for you to be able to walk out, for you to make that cut, again, they're not going to give you permission. If you're looking for permission to leave, it's never going to come because they're not going to want to give it. They're going to fight you every bit of the way. So there's going to be backlash. It's hard to stand up to that backlash until you have developed these tools. How are you going to deal with that? If you make the decision to talk face to face with them and say, you know what? We've tried and we've continued to try and I can't do it anymore. And I've come to a decision that I've got to leave. If you take that step and they come back at you with some level of backlash, how are you going to handle that? Do you have a place to go? Have you contacted your friends so you know you have a friend you can say, hey, I need to come over to your house right now? Do you have phone numbers you can contact? Okay, do you leave a note rather than doing it that way? Contact local domestic violence shelters. They can help you through this step by step because everyone's different. For one person, having that conversation might be all it needs. Honestly, it might be enough. For someone else, it could become dangerous. And that's what you know because you're in that relationship. And the more you educate yourself about abuse in general, you educate yourself on who you are and how you can handle things. Like I know me, I would have a problem with the face-to-face, to be honest, even though I would try to do it if I was in the right place. But I also know I'd have a problem because fall apart in tears right away. Any one of you guys who knows me knows I break into tears like that. And for many of these types of people, tears is a sign of weakness. So, and that's just who I am. So I'd have to find other ways to work with it. I'd have to work on that within myself. And so be prepared. Be prepared. Just have the plan. Be prepared for any backlash that comes with it. How are you going to work through that? So other questions. How are you going to care? How are you going to self-soothe? We know how to take care of our children. How do you take care of yourself? If you're being screamed at and yelled at, and you've just walked out that door, and you feel like you're falling apart and you're shaking like a leaf and all that, how are you going to take care of yourself in that moment? How are you going to self-soothe? Is it by having friends around? Is there a place you can get to a safe place and then have a journal to help self-soothe? What can you do? And how do you build all those years of being told that you were nothing? How do you rebuild that feeling? And that you are worth it? And not in all these cases, is it a leaving? Some people who are in these settings, they may not have to leave because that person might not be a narcissist to begin with. Could be someone who's just very immature who needs to grow up. But those are the things you're going to look at. Those are the things you're going to research. Those are the things you're going to try to get your hands on. Those are the things you're going to talk to your friends about. And the more you really listen to yourself, go back to those facts, because that's going to tell you what you're dealing with. And so every one of you are worth it. This month is to celebrate humans' ability to be resilient, strong, stand up for themselves, and become the person they're supposed to be. That's what, domestic violence, it takes a lot away, but you know what? It can build you up to a stronger person than you ever thought you could be. Because guess what? All of these little things that are happening are making you into someone who's empathetic, who understands people and cares about people because you've been hurt. You feel for other people and you're there for other people. So you know what? Use all that, pull all that together, become the person that you're supposed to be. Depend on each other. We've got an amazing community here. Okay, we've got the Discord, so many Discords. We got Rosaling's Discord, my Discord, Amber's Discord, Robbie's Discord, with safe places people can go to truly, in fact, I'm coming up with my link right now, okay, where people can honestly go and talk, figure out things, okay, find out, just, sometimes venting is not about screaming and yelling. Sometimes venting is just getting your thoughts pulled together, because that's what it comes down to, is pulling your thoughts together, because a lot of times you're never given that chance to do that. So hit up one of those Discords if you don't have another friend that you can talk with privately. Many of us you can contact, like Rosaline said. Okay, contact me. You can contact so many. Oh, Rosaline, you're the bomb. Oh my God, you're the bomb. And so go through and do those things and treat yourself well, because you deserve it. If anyone deserves it, it's you. And also just keep telling yourself that. So, and all of us in this chat today, there's been so many emotions poured out there. I've seen emotions popping up in there. We all pray for each other. We keep each other in our thoughts, and we hold each other in our hands. That's what we do. That's what this community is about. It's not about all the other crap that we all see. No, this is what we're all here for. So, talking about things we are here for, everyone keeps asking me, will we be having good old cantina tonight? And the answer is yes, we will be having cantina tonight. Not only will we have cantina, we will have it in 50 minutes at the top of the hour. So, hey, gang, you guys, This community is something beyond words. There really is no words to talk about how amazing the people are that I've met on YouTube. And seeing all you guys and people who are going through things, people who've been through things and are still working their way through it all, it's amazing. It's amazing to see the strong, wonderful men and women we have out there. So I will see all of you guys in less than an hour. I don't know how long I'll be up tonight. I got 2 hours of sleep last night. So the coffee maker is on though. So, but I will see you and we are going to have fun. Okay. Like I said, we work hard during this hour and 15 minutes or so, but we play hard afterwards. So we will go play afterwards. Love all you guys. Dogs are whining right now. So let me say bye-bye. Yes, you've been whining at my feet for the last 10 minutes. So I will see all you guys in about 50 minutes. Talk to you later. Love y'all. Aloha. And talk to you later. Bye-bye.